Hello traders, welcome again to this week starting today the 18th of July 2021. As usual, we're going to do our weekly market analysis and we will start with the binary.com indices. We're talking about the step index, the booms, the crashes. We're talking about the VIX from volatility 10, 25, 50, 75, 100, one S's, and then all the way up to the jumps. It is a pleasure having you here. Welcome back again. And as usual, if you've not subscribed to our channel, kindly take some minute and subscribe to our channel for you to be able to be getting updates on when we post new content. I am happy to be your host. My name is Mike, and I'm looking forward to a great session for the week. Now, as usual, we start with the weekly analysis. So we try to spend enough time to look at the market in terms of what it did last week, what you expect it to do into the new week prior to the session starting. However, for binary being different, and since it trades on 24/7, the week normally starts on Sunday, unlike Forex, which starts on Monday. So I'll go straight to the presentation and we'll start with the step index. I had done a video earlier on step index, and I'll just do a quick recap. As I mentioned before, step index is on a downward trajectory, and it's been on a downward trajectory for a very long time. As you can see, this is the weekly chart for step index. We had this fast move, we had a pullback to retrace the previous highs on the weekly chart, after which the market has been consistently going down. And when I look at how further we expect this market to go, we expect it to go all the way up to a region between 91.45.4 all the way up to 96.6. So from that particular context, therefore, we are still on a lower trajectory. How do you trade it for this week? On the weekly candle, the previous week has been bearish, which was a break in market structure from a ranging market that we've been having for a couple of days now, not a couple of weeks. So the market broke down, so we are doing the retracement back to this line while maintaining the lower trajectory. Now we expect the market to still keep on going down. Today was the first day of the week, so this is a pullback, which is normal. You expect a retracement. We can even have a further retracement all the way up to this region, touching this line. So if you're looking for setups, the best way to go about it, just a second, this is where you'll have your stop loss on a sell. You can sell from any region around here all the way. If it has retracements all to there, that is still okay, and you can hold that trade to swing it down to this region around this area, slightly below 91.45.4. so that is what I'm looking at when we're discussing about step index for the week. Then I'll jump to boom 1000 is an interesting asset, and when you look at it, we are basically creating the market. This was the lowest the market created back in December 2020, and from that time we are creating higher lows. This is the first higher low, the second higher low, the third higher low, while at the same time creating higher highs. As you can see, once we hit the highest within this rising channel, price has been retracing back down with a small pullback to retest this horizontal trend line, and we still expect the price to still come down to retrace at least the area of 105.47.2394. Until it gets here, I will not be comfortable to buy it. Reason being, we have still more room to the downside. However, when you look at how far it has retraced, if we were to do a Fibonacci retracement, interesting. So we are in between the 50 to 61.8% retracement levels, which is a very, very significant level that can either make this price to still continue going up, meaning if it was to go up, just a second, let's look at it on the weekly. If it was to go up from that region, we are looking at a further retracement we're looking at a similar, just a minute, let me not confuse you. We are looking at this movement, which will come to almost, which will come to 121.30.6729, meaning if, depending on the action that happens here between the next 1-2 days, 1-3 days, if we see a bullish setup forming within this particular region, then we'll take this one up to break this channel and take the price further to 120.30.6729. However, if that is not the case, then we expect this to be, if that won't be the case, then we expect this to be the highest high for the week. This region, they're about around 109.54.55, meaning we sell these all the way down to this region. In case we have a significant further dropout, that will just be a raid to seek more liquidity before having proper setups now for a buy. So that is my bias and perspective of Boom 1000. Crash 1000 has also been on a critical, consistent drop week after week after week after week after week after week. This is a pair that for now we would like to hold on, because I don't see any critical opportunity whether to buy or sell. My buyers will still be on the downward, but I think there are more other opportunities which are much better off to take than selling or buying Crash 1000. I'll move to Boom 500. This is my trade for the week. Now, Boom 500 is one of the interesting pairs also, because when you look at it on the weekly chart, this pair has consistently been going down, creating higher, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. It consolidated within this region, created a lower high, and fell further down. So what are we looking at? We are looking at a scenario where, based on last week's candle, this doji, so we expect this week to create for us opportunities for bullish momentum, and the bullish momentum will be a momentum that will help us retest some critical levels. If I can just show you, we expect this price to swing steadily up until the 5608.01 region, and it can even go further up to retest this ranging trend line, after which then we'll expect a further sell. So for this week, Boom 500 is a perfect buy. If I was to be in a position to, for those of you who do not understand how to enter the market well, your stop loss should be a bit wider, just beneath this area, so we're looking at below 49.67.2, with your take profit targeting the immediate take profit, which is around 5624.927. However, if you're not sure about what you're doing, kindly trade with a very small risk which you're comfortable to handle, and a risk that cannot blow your account. But for those of you who are interested in learning more about entry setups, then you can be able to contact me on the chat section of this video, and we'll be happy to connect you to our VIP group where we discuss this, where we break down these setups onto day and day market entries. Because it's one thing to do an analysis. The analysis basically gives you an overall idea of where the market is going to, but when it comes to the real execution, then you need to understand where perfect entries are, where perfect opportunities for you to have a better risk to reward are. So for Boom 500, that's a buy for the week. Crash 500, this is another interesting setup. Crash 500, it's another interesting setup. Now, when you look at Crash 500, still the same thing, just like Step Index. It's the same way Step has been on a downward trajectory. Crash 500 is also on a always been on a downward trajectory. However, we are on a critical consolidation area, which will determine the direction of this particular asset class in a couple of weeks ahead. However, for this week, you can see this is a perfect sell setup. So your stop loss will be anywhere above that region. There, with your take profit being at around 7096.88 to retest the lower lows with this strong doji. After this, we'll wait for a proper setup on a couple of days to see whether we can have a perfect entry for a buy to retest this particular region of around 90.51. But for now, you can have your stop loss above 83.88 and you take a profit at 76.82. So that is a perfect sell for the week. And if you can look at it from that perspective, there you go. Gives you that setup. V10 is also a very nice sell, still on a downward channel, and for this one your stop loss should be, let me go to the daily. On the daily, for the beginning of the week, okay, I still expect this week's candle to be strong bearish, because this is one of the pairs, this is one of the asset classes that once it starts selling, it creates consistent bearish candles. Look at these, look at these, look at these, look at these, look at all these. So I don't expect it to have a significant pullback, which is justified by the daily. When you go to the daily chart, the close of yesterday created for us a bullish setup, so we expect this price to swing around here, and depending on how today's market closes, if price closes below, just a minute, if price closes below 64.88, that will be a sure confirmation, a double confirmation for us to be able to enter a sell on this particular pair with our stop loss above the 64.97.9 region, and our take profit based on the weekly being at around 57.91, at around 57.91, 57.91, thereabout. So this is a setup that once we sell this week, we'll just keep on selling until we get to this particular critical zone. And that is all about V10. Let's jump to V25. V25 is an interesting setup. When you look at it on the weekly time first of all, let me look at it on the monthly for you to be able to see the story behind V25. Now, generally, we have been creating lower lows. Sorry, we have been creating higher lows. This was the lowest price to retest that this asset went to retest this particular region, which created for us a double bottom, and we expect this price to ultimately move back to retest the 3566.805 region. So the bias generally is on a buy. When you look at it now on the weekly, we are on a very critical area. Price, at the close of last week, price touched the 61.8% retracement level, which is extremely significant for us, as it gives us one opinion. This is a sensitive area, which if price breaks it, then we expect the price to still come down to this particular area, which is around 78% retracement at 2394.591. However, as we speak, this is a good setup with a stop loss below 2471.248, and you can hold on to this trade until it retests. You can hold this trade to retest this particular level, 2698.025. That is where your take profit will be, because after this, just a minute, after that, I expect this price to further drop down to retest our rising channel, which now will be a double confirmation at around 78% retracement, now for a further bullish up. I hope that makes sense. So for this week, this is a buy. But for perfect entries, you can contact me, you can DM me. V50 is another interesting setup. As you can see, price has not managed to break above this trend line for a very long time, and we're talking since September, since 9th of July 2017. That is almost 4 years. Price has just been coming down, and we touched it again last week but one. What happened? Immediately we touched it after a very long series of buys for several weeks. What happened? Price tanked. Now, what do we expect into this week? We expect this price to still keep on going down until we retest this particular area, which is at 200.7049, after which we can exit and look for a probable setup to either buy, because if we're going to buy these, then it will ride for several weeks. Let me just show you. If you're going to buy it based on the setup that we have here, if you're going to buy it at this particular region, if you're going to buy it from there, then expect these to take us all the way to retest 350.2783 region, because that will be a critical significant break in market structure, and the price will steadily shoot up to retest there. So, but however, for this week we are still monitoring it. It's a sell, as you can see from today's candle, from several days candle. We will still sell, go down until we retest the 201.09 area. If you have any questions, you can drop them in. You can DM on our Facebook page. Let me just show you our Facebook page, Traders Lounge East Africa. You can drop us there, or you can leave your message under the chart area of our YouTube channel. That is all to do with V50. Now let's move to V75. Now, is anybody of you familiar with this setup, with this pattern, or with this chart? Sorry, this is a similar chart like Bitcoin. This is a similar chart like gold and silver, where for gold, initially it shot up to the level, the highest it went to was a region of around $1,700-$1,800, and after that price significantly fell down before starting to range again. And we are observing the same similar chart structure for V75. Now, how would you trade V75? First of all, for this week, V75 will still be bearish. It will be a bearish week for V75 until we retest this critical area of around 530,288. Why? Because that is this bullish trend line that has never been broken since January 2019. We expect price to come here. However, for entry purposes, if we go for the daily, we are on a very critical support zone. As you can see, we are on a very critical support zone. So for this one, I'll not be in a rush with it. I'll wait for further retracement up, at least to retest this region. Let me show you. At least to retest the higher of that trend, where we had a break in market structure. And what I mean by break in market structure is when price moves from a critical consolidation area and jumps either to the upside or breaks to the downside. So it broke the market structure from there for a further sell, and that has brought us to this particular significant consolidation area. So for this one, we'll have to wait and see. I will be more comfortable to enter a sell if price retraces to this particular area, because after that, then I can sell it and bring it back to this area that I've mentioned before of around 530,500, all the way from 666,725, which is a lot of movement. That will give you close to that will give you a 20% fall in price from this particular area, which is very significant. And that is all about V75. However, as I've mentioned before, if you'd like to learn more about perfect entry setups, over and above you having a bias for the week, you can DM me. You can DM me on our Facebook group, or you can leave a message on our YouTube channel, and we'll be happy to get back to you. V101S, when you look at it from, let me go to the monthly for you to see the story behind V100. V100 for several months it's been bearish until this particular area where we had a significant consolidation for a couple of months. So what do we see? For the immediate, what we see for the immediate is we are still biased on a bullish, and this will be a bullish for several months. However, price doesn't just go straight up. So what are we saying? When you come to the weekly, price has been forming higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So we expect price to pull back, at least to retrace significantly, especially to this particular region, which from a a retracement level is around at least to below 50% retracement, but specifically and precisely I'd like price to come and retest this level, which is at 47.58. Once it retests there, then we will have a perfect entry for further buy that will now take us all the way to 84.48.40. So this week for V100 we expect a bearish setup. Have your stop loss slightly above the high of today's candle, and you can hold that trade for a couple of days and you'll smile at the end of the day. As you can see, it's forming, it's breaking out of this rising trend. So for more opportunities on how to trade it, you can DM me. However, the bias for the week is for a sell. V100, V101S is also a buy, and a very, very perfect buy, because as we speak right now on the weekly chart, you can see it is resting on a 61.8% retracement, and this is one of my charts for the week. Apart from Boom 500, there's V101S. This is a good buy, and this is a buy that at least this is a good buy, because it's a buy that can take you you expect it to pull back at least to retrace up to this level, this 38.2% before a pullback to give more opportunities for a buy. Generally, this is a perfect buy. V251S is very clear. This is a sell, and it is a sell. It's also one of my best trades for the week. This one is a perfect sell. Your stop loss slightly above this zone here, which is for 31,761, with your target take profit at 391,557. That's a very good sell. So if you have a small account of, say, anything below $100 and you wanted to trade, you can trade V251S as a sell. You can take V101S as a buy, with your stop loss slightly below that box, meaning with your stop loss at around 84.67, and you can also buy Boom 500, though you'd wait for it first to have a small level of retracement before you buy, because this one will ride for a couple of days. Though we expect a bit, because it's on a noisy area, we expect it to consolidate a bit before breaking market structure to the upside, but that's a perfect buy. So that is all about V251S. If you have any questions, drop us a message in the chat section or DM me on Facebook. If you need to learn more about perfect entry setups for such, drop a message on the YouTube channel message section and in the chat section, or leave a DM us on our Facebook group. V51S, this is an interesting setup, but as you can see, we expect price to retrace back to this particular level. Let me just show you, which at least to the 50% retracement, which comes to a region of, which comes to around 404,219. After that, then we can look for a buy setup, but until it touches there, we cannot enter any buy setup for V51S, and there are chances it can even break past this level to retest the 78% retracement, which is around 345,837. 345, 837 before a perfect buy. I'll be more comfortable to buy this asset once it touches this area. From this zone, I can be comfortable to buy and hold it for several weeks, because then it can make you a lot of money. The 75-1S, it is still consolidating, in as much as the bias generally is for a buy, because you've been really selling for a couple of months, and we are consolidating before now having a significant buy move to the upside. So for this week, I will buy it. In fact, I'll buy it because, first of all, being day one, the market has already pulled back. So this is a raid. We call this a raid because it has retraced back to this particular area where it created a double bottom, as you can see, exactly at the same area. So we expect into the new day or the next new day, if tomorrow's price breaks, if tomorrow's candle becomes a bearish candle, that is okay, it's no problem. It will just come, spike this level to raid more liquidity, and then we start buying to the upside. So we expect that to continue. We expect that that asset class to continue on a buy until we exit at this area of 20,164. That is the area that I'm looking at as the exit area for this particular pair. So this one can make you money, and the advantage of V75-1S is it is not as risky as pairs like V51S or V75. V100 is also an interesting setup when you look at it from the weekly and the monthly. Based on the candle of last month, we definitely expect this month's candle to be bullish, and in fact to be bullish, to take us all the way to this area 7333.37. Now when we come to the weekly, price has been consolidating, but in as much as it's consolidating, it is forming higher lows, but you see the highs are not being broken as such. So the lows are more steeper than the highs, and this is a perfect setup that indicates we are headed to the upside. So I expect this price to still play around this zone for this week. So if I was to trade these, in as much as I cannot trade it for this week because they're better setups, I'll put my stop loss. I'll put my stop loss below this rising trend line at the region of around 4668.9, and my take profit at 73.37. However, for this week, I will not jump into any trade on V101S. I'll wait for it to pray and pull back to this particular level. If in the course of the week I see a daily candle breaking back down to this level, then I can be able to buy it. For range break 100, there is no good opportunity under it, so let's leave it. The same with range break 200, and as much as it looks more bullish than bearish, I think it's a risky, those two are risky setups for now. We don't have very perfect entries. Jump 10, this is a perfect sell. As you can see, we are waiting for price to retrace back to, we have begun a retracement of this particular asset class, so we expect it to retrace at least to the 38.2 retracement. After that is only when we can be able to enter any opportunity or any setup to buy. Jump 25, this is a perfect buy for the week. As you can see, we are on a rising channel. I expect this price to still continually go up until we retest the higher highs at 105,500 level up here. before any further down sell, or it can create a W that is more extended, meaning W. But this last leg of W, to find, you can easily get it more extended, probably to a region around 109,024.27 before we have a further drop on that particular asset class. So for this week, this is a buy. V50 is more or less the same as range break 100, range break 200. Stay out of it. Let's see what it is doing, because as far as I'm concerned, it's still on a consolidation level and with not so much movement. The same with jump 75. This is one of the trades that made me money last week. It looks like a bearish scenario on the weekly setup. However, anytime I see a red candle, anytime we have a rising trend and then you see a bearish candle which is automatically followed by a bullish strong candle, there is a 70% probability that the next candle will still be bullish. Let me repeat. When you're on a rising trend and you see a bearish candle in the process, which is automatically followed by a strong bullish candle, be very careful, because there's a high likelihood that the next candle, which is now for this week, will be bullish. So because of that, and because of the highs it has formed, I will be more skeptical to sell than to buy. However, that said, price has retested these highs twice. Once, twice. So we may have a further drop on price, probably to retest this area of 97,005 before any further upside. And I'll not be surprised if this candle closes with a red candle, but above this area. So for that reason, I will not be able to trade it. I'll not be able to swing it for purposes of this week's analysis. And then finally we have jump 100. Jump 100 is a perfect sell. This is a price. So for this one, when you look at it on the weekly, this is the highest. I believe it will go to 980.75. So we expect it to fall down all the way to 69,235.52. Thank you so much for creating your time. Good luck trading for the week. I wish you well. I wish you success. Let's go out, make money. If you need, as I mentioned before, if you need to get any more information on how to join our VIP group, kindly drop me a message on the comment section of the YouTube channel or on our Facebook group. Alternatively, if you would like to learn more about our setups, I'll be doing this frequently, especially on the binary.com indices, so that you can be able to have a grasp of the whole movement for the market before the week starts. Otherwise, good luck trading. Have a great week, and God bless you. Thank you. And remember to subscribe to our channel.